Next, we have the third of our three lightning talks. I'm going to ask Patty O'Donnell to come on up. Patty is the former Selectboard Chair for Vernon, Vermont. For those of us from New England, that's also known as the Gateway to the Green Mountains. She served on the Vernon School Board and Select Board for 10 years, 3 years as chair. She's been a state representative for 12 years and presently serves as chair of the Tax Committee and is a member of the Planning Committee. So please welcome Patty O'Donnell.
I want to start with thanking you so much for having me here. It's really quite an honor to be here. I'm here to talk about a lot of the same subject that you've all talked about all day long, only I'm the real face of it. We've heard a lot about what happens to these communities in these regions when you close a nuclear power plant. Well, Vernon, Vermont used to be the host community for Vermont Yankee, and unfortunately, we've lost that. So I'm going to tell you what's happened to our community. First of all, we're a very small town, as many of the plants are built in very rural communities. So is ours. We're a town of 1,200 people in the very southeastern corner of Vermont. We border New Hampshire and Massachusetts. In fact, at one time, we were part of New Hampshire, and then we were part of Massachusetts. Sometimes I wish we were back there. We've been the host community of for Vermont Yankee for 42 years. We're a family in our town, the community members and Vermont Yankee. When you have a very small town that a nuclear plant moves into, it grows around that plant. So many of the people who live in our community were employees of Vermont Yankee. Vermont Yankee Entergy isn't just a company to us. It's a member of our family. And they've treated us that way all along the way. So the town was concerned when Entergy announced that it was going to go for a relicensing of Vermont Yankee because we really wanted it to happen. As I said, the people who work at Vermont Yankee are just not employees of Vermont Yankee. They're members of the Vernon family. They coach our kids. They teach our kids. They serve on our select boards. Our volunteer fire departments, they're always there when we need them. Something happens in our area, you can bet a handful of Vermont Yankee employees are involved in making it better, and still are, the ones that are left. Entergy has also been a phenomenal neighbor. Now, I can only talk about Entergy on the industry because that's all I know. But boy, what a company. All of this is happening. Vermont Yankee's closing, and they're still there for us every step of the way. We had a wonderful negotiation on our future tax agreement. They were fabulous to deal with for the town. We lost, because of Entergy's business in our state, about $300 million. Now, remember, Vermont is a state of 600,000 people. Not that long ago, we actually had more cows than we have people. So we're talking a lot of money, a huge revenue source. And I think the thing that's probably hurting the most is the people that worked at Vermont Yankee were so generous that they always gave to their community. And Entergy was the reason why they did it. They were a great leader. So our nonprofit organizations in a very small rural area is losing somewhere around $300,000 a year in donations. Now, again, that doesn't sound like a lot if you come from New York City, but it is huge in our area. And we have our nonprofits, our Big Brothers, Big Sisters, United Way, all of those campaigns that those people used to give to, crying because they don't know how they're going to serve the most needy in our community. And to show you what a great company Vermont Yankee is and what wonderful employees they are, after the plant had closed, the first whole group of employees had been laid off. they started what they called the legacy of giving. So they raffled off all of the equipment to employees at a very great rate. I know a couple people who got stuff, and gave all of that money to charity. They raised $16,900 to charity, and tens of thousands of dollars of equipment were given out to our local communities. Our community, being the host community, we did get first dibs and a lot of stuff. Bookshelves, desks, chairs, they're still giving to us. And I know the mentality of the people who work in the nuclear industry. This is what all of our communities are like. This is what we as a nation are going to lose if we don't do something to help the nuclear industry. So when it was announced that Vermont Yankee was going to get relicensed, we had a party in town. We were so excited. And then months later, out of the blue, Bill Moll came to our town and told us that Vermont Yankee was going to close. Other than the death of my parents, I think it's one of the saddest days I've ever lived through. As the chair of the select board at the time, I had a tremendous responsibility to try to figure out how we were going to live. And all of these people were my friends. Our kids all grew up together. I'm called mom of the neighborhood because I'm the oldest. And most of the people in my neighborhood work at Vermont Yankee. We had house after house after house on the market, and just sadly watched as people had to leave because there's no other opportunity in New England. Anybody who thinks New England's growing sure as heck hasn't been in my area because there's nothing. Vermont Yankee were the highest paid jobs in the state of Vermont, and they're gone. So it's been sad. And I want to impress upon you how difficult it is for these communities, because it's not only the town of Vernon that has been affected, it's our entire region. As I said, we're in the southeast corner of Vermont. So Massachusetts has been affected. New Hampshire has been affected. We have been affected. Our schools have been affected. Our tax rates have been affected. The market value of our homes have gone down about 25% already. The first year's town meeting, and Vermont's different in many ways, but we have what we call town meeting every year. So in the middle of the winter, we cross our fingers and pray we don't have snowstorms. And the first 2 days in March, or first Monday and Tuesday in March, we have what we call town meeting, where the whole community comes out and we vote on a budget. The year before they announced Vermont Yankee was going to close, 65 people showed up at town meeting. It did snow, but 65 people showed up at town meeting. The year they announced Vermont Yankee was closing, we had 425 people at our town meeting. We had never had that many people at town meeting in the history of town meeting. Why? Because people were afraid. How do you go on? So we got the bright idea of turning our planning commission into an economic development committee. And I'm telling you this story because I want you to understand that every speaker that has spoken today has talked about what could happen. It's happening. So we looked at this piece of property. We always called it our golden egg. It's got the river, it's got the rail bed, and it's got the switch yard. So what are you going to put on that land? We happen to have a 30-acre piece of land right next to that switch yard that we were going to put, I'm sorry, but a gas plant on, because we have to survive in our future. We have to do something. We had it all set. Had the investors. We were ready to go. Man, we were just waiting for FERC approval, and Kinder Morgan pulled out. Their pipeline was going to be 7 miles from where Vermont Yankee is, and that was our hope. So now what do? We're back to square one. If I could put it, my town, I shouldn't say, not just speaking for me, if we could put a nuclear power plant back in Vernon, we would do it in a second, because none of our friends would leave. We'd have good, clean, reliable energy that we could trust with the best workforce in the nation, the nuclear people. So thank you for having me today. And as I said, it's been quite an honor to speak to you. But please remember, there is so much more to this story and so much more to this issue than just where the electricity is coming from. there's a real human aspect to this. Thank you.